What's going on? Welcome to K.A.E Sports Talk. And if you guys can give me the HKO special, help the king out, subscribe, comment, and like. So now we're going to talk about Group D today. And of course, this group will be, I forgot to even mention, they will play at the Mall of Asia throughout this tournament. So here is Group D. Yeah, so first, I'm going to start off with Egypt. Yes, so Egypt. Yep. So they believe under Coach Rana's leadership. So this is a ranked number 55, 55th team, and of course there's Anson Murray. And of course Anson Murray plays in South Korea for the LG Sakers. So hopefully I'll get a chance to catch him at the Mall of Asia. So here we go. Egypt has to wait till the window of February 22 to tip off their African qualifiers and to get started on a quest to return to the World Cup after missing out in 19. So the Egyptian Federation in 22 brought in Canadian Roy Rana, the new head coach, to replace Ahmed Murray, who resigned in October. So there he is. And the Pharaohs, who had atonement in mind after they underperformed in the Afro Basket 21, were eliminated by gaining a round of 16, finish 11. But Egypt took care of business in the African Cup and secured their spot this summer with 2 games to spare. So there it is. Egypt's Group D did not play in 21 window, but opened 22 in Senegal, and things did not start as hope as they lost to Senegal 75 to 57, despite Anas Mohamed picking up 18 points, 9 rebounds. But Egypt did bounce back and they blew out Kenya and 7 players in double figures. And then the Pharaohs grabbed the second bid by defeating Congo, thanks to Hamad scoring 16 points, 9 rebounds. So here's the host of 22, and the team celebrated 3 victories with home fans. So Salah scored 22 points in the win over Senegal, and then Anson Murray chipping in 10 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, under 7 steals. And first game for Egypt since 18. I'm looking forward to Anson Murray again. And Egypt followed with a 73-39 of Kenya, and they beat Congo 80 to 52 to make the group 5-1. And Salah scored 17, and Murray with 13 points, 10 rebounds in the group game. So Egypt started their second round in Group F campaign in 22 in Tunisia, and they rallied from 12 down to beat Tunisia. And Salah scoring 18, Murray with 15 points, 13 rebounds. This ended Tunisia's 15-game unbeaten streak. So Murray was strong again versus Cameroon, 19 points, 9 rebounds. So Egypt's 7-game winning streak was snapped in the final game, losing to South Sudan. So Salah recorded 22.6 assists in the setback. And Egypt hosted the final window of the Asian qualifiers in 23, as Salah scored 23 and Mahmoud delivered 12, and another win over the Afro basket champs Tunisia by 4. So the victory in Alexandria locked up Egypt's spot in the World Cup. Egypt dropped the last 2 games, but they are in, and Hanson Murray. So big on watching Hanson Murray, and of course and then of course they lost to Sudan, but 42 points for Abdelhem. Sorry if I mispronounced that name, for more single points, and then the previous mark held by Jordan Noah of Nigeria. And of course, 40. And then, the best results. Egypt will be playing in their 7th World Cup. So they, was there in 57, 59, and 70. So their best placement was 1950, as Egypt beat Ecuador, Spain, France, and Chile to take 5th place. And the country took 11th place of 13 teams in 59, 13th of 13 in 70, and 16 and 90, and then 94, 14 of 16 and 94, 24, 24, and 14. So Egypt just had collected 2 victories in 33 games in the last 5 appearances. So there's Egypt. Okay, and then of course their last World Cup appearance. Yep, they defeated it after failing to get a win in '79. Egypt dropped to five in the group phase, so they defeated Cuba in the classification and then lost to Korea for 14th place. So 14, Egypt lost to Syria, Spain, France, Iran, and Brazil by average of 37 points. So yep, it's the old Egypt team. Now, of course, the head coach Roy Rana has a couple of leaders. So Edip Amin, the big duo of Ansem Murray and Anas Mahmoud, and the head coach knows how to rely on that trio. So, yep, this is going to be something I'm going to be looking forwad to. And then Mir Abdullah made his Presidents in 42 points, and he could light it up with giving much help. So, yeah, so Anson Murray. So, yep. So I'm kind of wanted to, hopefully, I can go see Anson Murray and I will hopefully catch a game with Egypt. So, yep. So that's where they're at. And of course, they're ranked 55th. So it's going to be really tough for this team to get a win, but we'll see how this really goes down. So that's going to be my preview on Egypt. So good luck to Egypt. So number 55th ranked team. Okay, so the next team we're gonna go and look is we're gonna look if I can find it. Mexico. Yes, we're gonna look at Mexico if I can get it there. Yes, so Mexico. So the Guerreros are hungry to return to the knockout stage. So Mexico, and they are ranked what 31st. Yep. And how did they qualify? So Mexico started as qualifiers after losing to Brazil in the semifinals in men's FIFA Olympic qualifying split, but the longtime 12 girls Omar Quintero was back at the helm as head coach, and Mexican fans were treated to a thrilling ride over the six windows. At the end, Mexico booked their ticket on the final day for the global stage for the second time in three editions. So, yes, so this Mexico team hosted the first bubble in 21, and then Mexico opened the Group D of America qualifiers 90 to 86, the win over Puerto Rico, which had 17 lead changes, and Gabriel Guillon scored 21, and Fabian James scored 19, and 12 points, and Paul Stolz dished out 14. So more than 4,000 fans came out for Mexico's second game as they fought 13 down to beat USA. And then Orlando Mendez scored 27 and Stoll scored 18 points and 11 assists. So, yeah. And then, of course, their window ran through 2022 February with a win over Cuba. And, yep, and Mexico's winning streak was snapped with an 89-67 loss to the United States. Now, and then the June-July window opened with a win over Cuba. And then, of course, Mexico was unable to knock up Puerto Rico again as they lost the thriller by 10 in overtime. So Miguel Cruz totaled for 39, helping Mexico rally from 18 down in the game. And then the second stage was another thriller in front of 10,200 Chihuahua as Mexico wasted a 20-point lead and failing to Colombia, but Mexico bounced back in Group F by upsetting Brazil by 10. So that's where they're at. And of course, between the first and second round windows, Mexico played in the America Cup in 22 in September. They beat U.S. in the opener, lost to Venezuela in the final group game, and were upended by Canada by 5 in the quarters. And in the window, Guiron and Cruz combined for 38 points with a win over Uruguay. Mexico had no trace in the second matchup with Brazil as they got creamed. But yeah, and of course, the competition for the World Cup spots for Americas were fierce and only decided in the final window. So there, they had to go to the last day as they beat Colombia, and then they fought from 11 down to run away with against Uruguay. So yep. And of course, their best result is they're making their sixth appearance in the World Cup and second in three editions. America's side debuted world stage in 59 and played in three straight World Cup, finishing 13th and 9th before taking 8th and 67. And of course, the performance Uruguay ended up being the country's best. So Mexico took 9th in 74 and waited 40 years to return, finishing 14th in 79 summers ago. So their last appearance, basketball is back on the landscape in Mexico in 14 when the 12 girls ended a 40-year drought. So they started Group D in Spain, but with a loss and to Lithuania and dropped the second game Slovenia, and Mexico grabbed their first crucial win over Angola. What Gustavo Iron was 17 points, 12 rebounds in the 79-75. And then Mexico gave Australia a fight 70-62 before bouncing back to knock off Korea 87-7 to advance to the round of 16 to whoever hold the tiebreaker over Angola. Mexico had no chance in the knockout phase. They were eliminated by the United States 86-63. Of course, we have some players to watch. Of course, head coach Quintero had a strong core in qualification with 5 players. So Gabriel Guillon, Izzo Gutierrez, Fabian James, Orlando Mendes, Paul Stoll, and they all played 12 games. And Gail Molina appearing in 11 of them all. So, yeah. So, and Stoll and Mendes are the 2 players from the 14 roster. So they'll be likely be back later summer with Gutierrez, Cruz, and Hernandez. So, yep, they have a talent, of course, and they'll also have services of Juan Toscano Anderson, not to mention Lucas Martinez, Alex Perez, Amigo, and Joshua Ibarra. So we will see how this team is going to do. I do feel like they are ranked 31st, so they're going to finish in 3rd or 2nd, but it depends against Montenegro. So that's what their challenge is. It's a huge challenge here in to get to the second round. So yeah, and this is the team they have to face is Montenegro. Montenegro is ranked 18th, so it's going to be tough for Mexico. But if they can beat, like say, if they beat Egypt and then they beat Montenegro, they're in. But Montenegro is no joke. So this is the 18th team. So yeah, 4-time FIBA Eurobasket participant. So Montenegro. So how did they qualify? They booked their spot in 23 World Cup on the final day of the European qualifier. So it was a long journey. So head coach Bosco Radanovic, I'm mispronouncing that, qualification bracket 12 and 18 in Korea and collected 2 wins over Iceland and Denmark to enter Group E of the main qualification. So Montenegro in the qualifiers with a 72 to France after wasting a 10-point lead in late 3rd quarter, and Milicevic scored 23 points. So the Balkans got its first win later in 21, knocking out Portugal behind 22 points before Justin Cobbs. So yes. So, of course, in February 22, they had a victory over Hungary, and then they were upset at home by Hungary days later, 88-84. So, yep. Now, in the June window, they won a thrilling game of 70-69 over France. So that was 17 lead changes. So, till, Ronovic's floater. So Montenegro also won comfortably in Portugal. So this team is not too bad because I kind of saw them in the Euros. So they have some talent on this team. And they had a convincing win over Bosnia and Herzegovina with Milokovic pouring 20 points. And Montenegro lost the second game in August 22 by 70 points to Lithuania, beside points from Kendrick Perry. So, yeah, they have a strong group. And then, of course, the FIBA Eurobasket, that's when I really watched them, with 3 wins before being bounced by Germany. Yeah, so, and then, of course, the November 22nd followed with 65-55 mad win over Czech Republic, and then the home loss to Lithuania. So that left the final window if Montenegro was going to make it back to the World Cup. So they failed to convert the first chance because they lost to Bosnia by 8, but finished the deal at home over the Czech Republic. So that's what they are. Now their best result is this is Montenegro's second appearance to the World Cup back-to-back. So the Balkan nation was the smallest nation to reach the FIBA World Cup in 19, and they have a population of only 600,000. That Mark K.A.E made that claim in 23. So, yep. So they made their debut in 19, but they ended up 25th amongst 32 countries. and last World Cup representatives, they reached the global stage in 19, dropped all three games in the first round to Greece, New Zealand, and Brazil. And then they lost to Turkey before knocking out Japan for their first ever World Cup win. So they're back again. And yep, and of course, let's see the roster: Nikolai Vucevic, Borjan. It's probably Juba Jervik. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing that. Kendrick Perry are headline names of the 24 squad. So we don't know if this. I'm sure that the NBA players are in unless they can't make it because this roster's been changing for both all these 32 teams, day and night. So, yeah, so the player is in, the player is not in. So that's what we're dealing with Montenegro. So, but yeah, we'll see. But this is the 24 squad, but things change in a jiffy. So, yeah, so what I say today could be the guy could not be playing tomorrow. So that's just remain to be seen. Okay. So now, and they are ranked number 18th, but they can cause some problems. So they can really cause some problems. And of course, the team that they will play is Lithuania. So they're familiar with each other. Okay. So with Lithuania, they know each other. So they could actually beat Lithuania. But of course, Lithuania's got a lot of talent. So the question is, yep, who's gonna, play? And that's the news right now for most of these World Cup teams because one day we have, he's gonna play, and then the next day he's not gonna play. So that's what we're looking at right now. So this news could change within within the next 24 hours. All right. So after Spain, Austria, France, and Slovenia, next up is number 8. Yes, so this is the eighth ranked team, Lithuania. So they got some players. Like one kid, I'm like Jokovitis. I'm really liking that player. Yep. So yep, Lithuania went through big changes in qualification. So let's see, Kaz Marksevis. So coming up as Boris head coach for Darius Mukovlinius. And Lithuania failed to qualify for Olympics for the first time since '92. So yeah, and of course Luka Doncic is not. I mean, not Luka Doncic. Yes, so bonus is not even playing either. So that's a lot of news there. And of course, Lithuania secured the World Cup one window to spare, so they kind of qualified early. Okay, so they started off with 5 straight wins through 2 were nail biters. So let's see, and Oli Sivius scored 20 points in 87-88 over Bosnia, and in third, and former NBA Giannis Bradikis came official team to remember at Bulgaria with 13.6 in a 72-70 to give them the 5-0 mark. So Lithuania suffered their first loss in the campaign, the first round home to Czech Republic. So yep, see, so they had some bonus, and Vasconis helped the team to 2 wins, but I don't think Sabonis is playing. And Lithuania got their NBC Sabonis and Vakunas back in the August 22 window to carry their 2 wins combined for 30 points. So, yep. So, yep. And then the Eurobasket, because I covered the Eurobasket on my stream, on my live streams. Yep. So they basically came after that window, and Lithuania barely survived the group before losing eventual champion Spain in overtime in the round of 16. I remember that one. And November 22nd saw Kitunis Kimuzara fill in for Masikis as head coach. So I'm sorry I mispronounced. I'm butchering these so like a bad habit. In the first game, Lithuania in amazement themselves by the debut of French star Victor Wembanyama in a 25-point loss. But Kamazura got the team rebound and secured a 65-56 win in Montenegro to lock up the World Cup. Yep, so their best result after appearing in the World Cup for and 6th World Cup and 5th in a row. They reached quarterfinals in the first 2 events since '98 and '06, and advanced to semifinals in 10 and 14, grabbing a third spot on the podium for 10 for the best result ever. Okay, so their last World Cup appearance. Yep, Lithuania bowed out to Russia after the first appearance in '98, falling in the quarterfinals. Spain ousted the Baltic side in the final 8 minutes in '06. So Lithuania was in the perfect in the group stage in 10, and then knocked up China and Argentina first 2 rounds of knockout, but then could not get past the United States in the semis. Lithuania did, however, bounce back, defeated Serbia to take third place. Yep. So, and in 14, Lithuania only lost to Australia in the group stage, and then they beat New Zealand around the 16 and Turkey, and of course, that meant another semi-final showdown with U.S. and the Americans were too good. Unlike 10, Lithuania could not leave the crew with a medal as they lost 95-90 to France in the third place game. And then, of course, in 19 in China, Lithuania once again lost to Australian opener and a defeat at the hands of France in the second group stage. So Lithuania, a spot in the knockout phase, Lithuania ended up finishing ninth, their poorest showing in the World Cup history. Now, they do have this preliminary roster, so we don't really know who's going to play. I mean, they started with 14 players. Bakonis will join later per NBA rules, and we saw 3 to 4 players from the reserve squad. So Bradikis will be late, and we still don't know about Tubelis, and we could join, and whether they could join as an NBA player. So yeah, so I don't know. Of course, you don't see Sabonis in this roster. So and Konis, yep. So we don't know who's gonna play. So I don't know. The news is going to change. I'm sorry, I'm butchering your names again, but they're not. They're gonna be. They're just. We don't know. We don't know what the news is gonna be. So yeah. So it could be by the World Cup, we will know. We won't even know the full roster yet. So yeah, and of course, I've been speaking like, hey, this is a roster. No, it's not the roster. But yeah, so that's where we're at with this World Cup. So, but yep, that's Group D, and they're going to be in Manila. All right, so tomorrow I will have Group F, and let me get this back up. So Group F will be tomorrow. So today that was pretty much groups A, B, C, and D that I have finished with this preview. All right, everybody, if you enjoyed any of this content, please give me the HKO special. Help the king out. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment. All right, I'll see you soon.